Welcome to the final programme in the Southern Album series. Today we feature the last 3 locomotives from Dad's collection to appear in my YouTube videos. Starting off with the attractive Billinton B4X 440 that is just getting ready to head for its train. It's August Bank Holiday Monday and holiday trains and excursions are everywhere. No exception for the B4X that's been drafted in to work some hurriedly prepared London South Western non-corridor coaches. But even this train needs extra luggage space, hence the addition of the passenger brake. The B4Xs were known as greybacks. Between 1922 and 1924, Billinton decided to rebuild 12 members of his rather lovely B4 class, designed for the London Brighton and South Coast Railway, using his K-class superheated boiler. The rebuilt locomotives were classified B4X. However, since the original frames could not be used, they were virtually new engines. Unfortunately, the original motion and motion plate were retained to save costs, which meant that the piston valves were in constricted space below the cylinders. Only 8-inch diameter valves could be fitted in, and combined with the restricted exhaust arrangements, ensured that they were unable to use the steam available from the excellent K-class boiler. Acceleration from stops was very leisurely, and they could only be coaxed up to 70 miles per hour when newly outshopped, with great difficulty in places. The B4 had been an elegant 440 built for the London Brighton South Coast between 1899 and 1902, which you can see here was indeed very elegant and a different looking machine. Now another train of bank holiday traffic stands waiting for its locomotive, this time some Maunsell stock by Greyfar, and the locomotive is a Lord Nelson class number 864, named Sir Martin Frobisher, in post-war melancholy of 1947. She's backing onto the train with 2 passenger luggage vans. train is also unusual as it has 3 bullied coaches attached at the rear, so quite possibly this train will divide en route, perhaps once it reaches Devon. The Sir Lord Nelson class is a type of 4-cylinder 460 steam locomotive designed for the Southern Railway by Richard Maunsell in 1926. They were intended for Continental boat trains between London Victoria and Dover Harbour, but were also later used for express passenger work to the southwest of England. 16 of them were constructed, representing the most powerful Southern 460 design. They were all named after famous admirals. The class continued to operate with British Railways until withdrawal during 1961 and 1962. Only one example of the class, the first engine, Lord Nelson itself, has been saved from scrapping. This has been seen running on mainline tours and preserved railways throughout Britain. Although the improved King Arthur class 460 locomotives were capable of the heaviest express passenger work between London and southwest England, there was a growth in demand for continental traffic, travelling via Dover and Folkestone. By the mid-1920s, the Southern Railway Traffic Department wished to begin operating 500-ton express trains on these routes during peak periods. These would require a more powerful locomotive, able to pull heavier loads at sustained speeds of 55 miles per hour, so as not to impede the congested electrified lines around London. However, any enlargement of the existing 2-cylinder designs was not possible due to weight restrictions imposed by the railway's civil engineer. After examining the practice of other British railways, Richard Maunsell, the chief mechanical engineer, secured agreement for a 4-cylinder design with an improved boiler and bell-pair firebox. The drive would be divided between the front coupled axle for the inside cylinders and the middle coupled axle for the outside cylinders, giving a better weight distribution and reduced hammer blow to the track. The new design was an inevitable compromise between the need for additional power and to keep the weight down to an acceptable limit. And now Lord Nelson, number 855, named Sir Robert Blake, in SR Passenger Green of 1938, stands at the head of a 12-vehicle train, including no less than 4 passenger luggage vans. So this train must be bound for Southampton docks and an ocean liner. There were 2 unusual features of the design, the first of which was the setting of the crank axles at 135 degrees rather than the standard 90 degrees of other locomotive types. This design necessitated 4 sets of valve gear and gave rise to the 8 beats per revolution rather than the usual 4, designed to give a more even draw on the fire and less chance of wheel slip when starting. The second difference was that the fire grate was in two sections. The rear portion was horizontal and the front sloped away sharply. For a period after its introduction to the Southern Railway network, the Lord Nelson class held the title of most powerful locomotive in Britain, a claim based on extractive effort. The advanced design of the locomotive led to the Great Western introducing the Great Western King class in order to regain the title lost by the Great Western Castle class locomotives when the Lord Nelsons were first introduced. The Lord Nelsons were notoriously difficult for inexperienced crews to fire properly due to their long firebox, and specific crews who had proven experience in firing the locomotives were therefore allocated to them. This was due to the relatively few locomotives in the class for crews to train on. The LMS Royal Scot class was loosely based on this design also. Well, I know these videos have not had as wide an appeal as I might have liked. However, there has been a very loyal following among several hundred of you, which I sincerely thank you for. I feel I've done justice to Dad's skills and passion for the Southern Railway. Stay tuned for more videos very soon.